QualsCon season is upon us, so I'm going to be doing a quick review of a lot of the offerings of interest to me and other collectors, and then I'll be digging a bit further into what was announced for G.I. Joe Classified. You know, it's my favorite line. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, filling you in since 2002. Like and subscribe, and let's start. So I'm going to skip over everything Transformers. I like Transformers, but I'm kind of a G1 type of guy, so I don't have much to say here. If there's nothing GI, not interested. A lot of those characters I don't really know, so I can't quite comment on what was announced today. I'll do the same for Star Wars. I don't know much about the characters. I have not been watching the latest Star Wars series on Disney Plus. So again, not an expert. I can't speak to that. In terms of Marvel Legend, the one figure that interested me the most is the Matt Murdock action figure. Now, that looks sweet. I like the character. Daredevil is a favorite of mine over at Marvel. This civilian version of Matt Murdock looks incredible. They say it's not exactly the same reused suited body. I can see this. The suit is more form-fitting. It seems that the lower legs are not exactly the same as the tracksuit Mafia. I wish the cane could be compacted into a stick. Apparently that's not happening with this cane, and I wonder how Matt looks without the glasses. This is a figure I'm going to be looking forward, and I'm hoping that means that there will be a new MCU Daredevil pretty soon, and maybe even a Foggy Nelson eventually. That would be fun. In terms of the Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't like the sweater on MJ. It's too thick. Makes her look a bit overweight, so I don't really like that. I think I like her more form-fitting. But then I do have something to say about the fact that they're finally giving us the Spider-Man figures, the 3 generation of Spider-Man with their heads. If you were one of the collectors who bought the Marvel Legends series Spider-Man No Way Home pack, yeah, you got screwed. We all knew this was coming. We all knew that there would be a version with the heads released much later. Except the first version was $90 US. The figures that they're selling right now are $25. It's $75 in all. That's quite a big saving. It's kind of weird. It's not cool for collectors. Hasbro does things just like they did with the Trouble Bubble Python Patrol version being $10 less than the former one. I don't like that. Now the Tom Holland body is a new one that was not used before. It's the suit that he dons after everybody's memory has been wiped out. I'm not sure if the head is a new one. There's been so many Tom Holland heads in recent years, recent months even. I don't know where this head fits in with the other ones, but it is a good looking build. I already have a Spider-Man Tom Holland action figure. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this one, but it is nice. Of course, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are must have, especially with the new heads on. How can I not get them? I don't have very good recent action figures of either characters, so it might be worthwhile to maybe get them. Again, the whole pack would have cost me much more money than this, buying them separately. It's almost like a no-brainer. The other announcements from the regular Marvel Universe world will come in a few weeks, so I'll look at them then. Now to Power Rangers. The Power Ranger Lightning Collection Omega Rangers was previewed or announced before that. The figures look sharp, the colors are bright. I'm not a Power Ranger expert, so I don't know if they should be having regular human heads for the actors playing them. I wish there were. I probably would have gotten those figures. They look really good, but I don't know right now. And now for G.I. Joe. Well, the Crimson Strike team with the Baroness, Tomax, and Xamot, they look great. They look sharp. I'm not gonna get them. I don't like to buy multiple of non-army builder characters, and the twins are exactly the same sculpt, just in red. The current twins I've had for just over a year now. They're fine. And the Baroness, I've got 2 of them because I bought 2 coil bikes. One of them has an alternative head on her. I can see that there's an improvement in the Baroness sculpt and articulations, but I'm okay with the Baroness I've got so far. And I guess I do prefer having a black costume Baroness. It's a classic look, but I can expect them to even redo this red one into blue eventually, and later on in black. We know it's coming. It's the Baroness. She's too popular not to be reproduced. Now for the other figures that were announced and are about to be released, we have a couple of Dreadnoks, a couple of Joes, a lot of other announcements, things that were previewed, great looking stuff, but I'm going to start with the stuff that might be coming to us in the coming weeks. Dreadnought Buzzer. Yeah, I never expected him to look this way without the glasses. I don't care. I like this figure. How can you not like the Dreadnoks? they're just so cool looking. They're good. Buzzer looks great. That's all I can say. I can't be critical of this figure. It's just Buzzer. So Hasbro went for the classic look again, not changing too much, just very slight updates, but that's what most people seem to want these days. They want to see the 3 3/4 figures reproduced in 6 inches, 112. Shockwave seems to me like he reuses many parts from Beachhead and other figures. It's just a good figure, a standard figure. Of course, I'm going to get Shockwave. It would have been fun to have an alternative head without the mask, but that's okay. I've never liked Agent Helix. I don't like overpowered characters that can do everything. I don't like Mary Sue's. She's a Mary Sue, but the figure looks very good. I'm not sure I get this trinket thing for the weapons in her arms. Figure it out when I get it, but this figure does look good. I didn't expect that I was gonna want her, but now I do want her. She looks good. She's gonna be on my shelf. That's all. What can I say about General Hawk? General Hawk is one of my favorite since I was a kid. I had this version of General Hawk as a kid also. This is a good General Hawk. It's got all the classic parts. Everything that you need for General Hawk is in there. How can I not be happy with this figure? It's just a good figure. It looks good. I can't wait to give G.I. Joe its leader once and for all. Duke has been standing in as the leader of the troops for quite a while. They need General Hawk. Take care of those Cobras in fights. Can't wait to get him. Ripper, another successful Dreadnought figure. How could they go wrong with Ripper? His weapon, the jaws they just open and they shut down. It's a win. And you can also remove his glasses too. It's a good figure. Just like Buzzer. He's a Dreadnought. Hasbro seems to be very good at creating Dreadnoughts. I mean, Zarana was exceptional. Zartan was great. And now we've got Buzzer and Ripper. We'll get Torch very soon. All we're missing is Zendar. And I'm hoping that Zendar will come with a chameleon swamp skier instead of his brother. That would be so cool if he came with that. We know that the Thunder Machine is coming eventually. This is good stuff. Those Dreadnoughts, they just look good. If we look at what's been announced, it's going to be a great year once again for G.I. Joe. There's a big boa coming and you can put a regular face on him once and for all. I never understood why he had this weird helmet on, but giving Big Boa a real face is a good move by Hasbro. The weight are going to be fun. The boxing gloves, very good again. They joked that he was given nipples. I never checked for that in the past. Doesn't matter. He seems like he's on a thicker body. He's a bit beefier and bigger than most figures of his size. And that's a good thing. I think Big Boa will be a good addition to my collection. Your collection too, I hope. Big Boa's a go. It would have been fun to make him look a bit like Sylvester Stallone. Would have been fun. If you know about the history of Big Boa and Sylvester Stallone and Rambo and so on, they have history together. It would have been fun. Airborne looks good. He looks like he's reusing many parts from Ripcord and possibly Snow Job. I'll have to double check on that, but that's still a good figure. I have no complaint here. The backpack is definitely Duke's backpack or something I've seen before. I know I've seen this backpack before. The face should look a bit more indigenous to me, but he does have the tan, so maybe it's gonna look good once we have it in hand. Now, Quick Kick is fun. I don't like his face, but the body's gonna be good, and I can't wait to put him next to Shang-Chi, the first comic book based Shang-Chi, and compare the two of them. I didn't expect them to make Quick Kick shoeless. Thought they were gonna give him slippers or something at least. They went for the traditional comic look. I can't blame them for that. It's okay. It's Quick Kick. Maybe he'll fit with your Street Fighter collection. I don't know. He seems kind of a weird character to put on the battlefield, but hey, this is G.I. Joe. Maybe he's just a trainer, just trains troops. Quick Kick is a go. I'm getting him, that's for sure. And there's many customization possibilities with this character, so it'll be fun to get him. Now, the purple Techno Viper is a win. We know that there's a red version that's coming with the MSS system with the His Tank to correspond to the His Tank's release. I'm gonna get this Techno Viper and the red Techno Vipers. Techno Vipers are just great figures. They're great characters. It's a win for me again. Army building, not to a crazy extent, but army building nonetheless. I can't wait for that. I think Metalhead was a bit after my time with G.I. Joe, but this guy looks so crazy. He looks like a crazier version of Scrap Iron with all the weapons and the gears. It seemed that they're just gonna go for the madness of this character. I don't mind it. I'm a bit concerned about the pegs he has on his thigh. I'm hoping that this is something that is not molded on. It's part of a strap that can be removed, because I wouldn't like to see these things. It reminds me of the old figures, and I didn't like when they had the extra pegs protruding out of their bodies. I don't like that very much. Metalhead reminds me of those crazy 1989 figures that had weapons and gears and stuff like football-based grenades and stuff. He's getting there. But because he's a Cobra, that's okay. Or a Destro, I should say. It should be alright with him. He looks crazy enough that, yeah, maybe he's gonna be a good companion to Scrap Iron. He's gonna be a deluxe too. Mutt and Junkyard, we've seen them before. Nothing to say. They look like good figure. I still wonder why Junkyard's head is so big compared to Mutt's, but I'll see if it works in person. I didn't think that a dog's head would be so big, but that's okay. Classic Scarlet is obviously a win for everybody, for you and me. We knew she was coming because of Glenda. I'm a bit torn because I do have the Snake Eyes movie Scarlet, and I do have the first version Scarlet, the original one, not the repaint. Well, I do have a repaint, but I've never taken out of her box. Not sure exactly what I'll do with this, if I'm gonna get her or not. She obviously has the classic look, but then I'm gonna get a Glenda as part of the helicopter, the Dragonfly, so I don't know. But she does look great. She looks impressive. She looks beautiful. You can see that she's also using the same backpack as the Valkyries, so the Valkyries will have someone to fight. Should be a retro version, obviously. She should be a cool figure to have. And her crossbow is a new one also. Let's hope this one does not break apart so easily just like the old one. Recondo is gonna be a retro release. I never did get the Tiger Force Recondo. I'm hoping this one will be easy to find. They say it's not an exclusive anymore on the card back retro look. This is a Recondo I and many collectors have been waiting for. I guess we're all happy to see Recondo. That's a good thing. Now there will be a new cartoon comic accurate Duke. The head is going to be completely different from the previous Duke, so there's no attempt at having some kind of continuity with the head sculpts. We can see this with the previous Scarlet. Has nothing to do with the first Scarlet that was released in 2020. Same thing for this Duke. Is beefier also than the previous Duke. Some of the equipment will be the same, like the backpack. Does that mean that my old Duke is no longer a Duke or is a different character? That original Duke was a fan favorite of mine. Thanks to that figure. That's why I'm collecting classified right now. I don't feel like retiring it. It's like one of those Firefly situation where they make a new version of a figure. They improve on it a lot and you're asking yourself, should I be getting this new version or should I just stick with the old version, which had the old aesthetics, which meant that they were completely updated as opposed to close to the cartoon and the comics. It's a debate. I don't know about this Duke. I like it a lot. It looks good. I know they're going to take care of things like the face. At the same time, you can see that G.I. Joe is a bit eating Super 7's lunch by releasing those figures for much less money and making them the right scale to fit with the rest of your collection. It's going to be a question mark for me. I don't know if I'm going to get this Duke, but like I said, this Duke looks great. I like it. It's just that I don't like to buy multiples of the same characters. That's why I like to have only one. If I buy him, he's going to become someone else, or the old Duke's going to become someone else. There might be some customization option for that Falcon head now, in hindsight. I'm hoping that whenever that Falcon comes as a retro figure, they'll fix that face once and for all. And now the coup de grace, where Hasbro decided they were going to celebrate their 60th anniversary by releasing original type Joes, which are not related to a real American hero, but they are real soldiers. If I'm Valorverse right now with Action Force, I'm not happy. These figures are going to eat Valorverse's lunch. They're going to be about the same price, probably, with a decent amount of gear, and with the added compatibility with the rest of the classified line, and easier to find through multiple fan channels, stores, and Action Force. And for customers outside of the United States, less shipping fees, less import fees. This is a hit under the belt by Hasbro against Action Force and Valorverse. All in a good fight. I guess one could say Valorverse should have seen this one coming, but they have tried to diversify with other lines now. But this figure really goes into the core of what Action Force is about, which is more realistic military figures. But G.I. Joe was the first action figure and the first military action figure, all in a good fight. The Frogman version is going to be a fun one. It probably will be using a lot of parts from Torpedo. There are so many customization options possible that even with two different heads, you can army build to more than two characters. There's so many options there. What I wish for this line is that we'll have Navy and Marine troops in their uniform, dress uniform, that will have military police, airmen, army characters in dress uniform also, officers, and so on. I'm hoping that they'll just go crazy on classic looking and current military action figures to complement the G.I. Joe line. I'm not sure how Valorverse can compete with that at this point. It was just a matter of time until Hasbro decided they were going to play even rougher than before against Valorverse. At the same time, we had needs, well, many of us had needs for very good army builders on the Joe side that were different than the Seal Corps. I don't like the Seal Corps very much, so these guys here, they're the real army builder that I've been wanting. A lot of customizers will have a field day with those characters. You can create so many different versions of those characters if you remove the heads and so on. There's so many options possible, all the while using the Valaverse playbook of adding 2 different heads. Hasbro smart. They're good competitors. We do have to thank Action Force and Valaverse for forcing Hasbro to create better products that can compete with Action Force. It's all good for us in the end, collectors. We all win from this. And let's hope that there's still a space in the market for Valaverse when these guys start releasing early, maybe in 2024. So which one was your favorite? Which one would you just shout, shut up and take my money on the spot? I believe pretty much almost everything except for Duke and Scarlet are probably going to end up on my shelf. I'm very happy with this release. I think that G.I. Joe is the most elaborate and established line and probably most successful line that Hasbro has right now compared to the amount of effort and money invested. Most of those figures are already sold out. It's incredible how popular this line is, probably with a smaller number of collectors who buy a lot more than, say, Transformers or even Star Wars fans. It's just incredible. I'm happy to be a G.I. Joe collector. They're just good figures. They're exactly what I really wanted as a kid, and now I'm a big kid. So what did you like? Write about it. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, filling you in since 2002. Like and subscribe.